Still in the studio with me, I have Norman Bakos, one of the founders of the Bakos Brothers furniture stores here in Johannesburg. Now, this economy and most of the economies around the world for the last 3 years have been through one of the worst recessions for many years. How hard has it hit you in the furniture business?
Well, it's hit us a bit like everybody else. We're not immune to the recession. What we did to combat it is we opened our own factory to cut out the middleman, and we reduced the prices of our lounge suites and leather couches, fabrics. We imported our own fabrics, and we've come down a bit on the price range without sacrificing our better end of the trade. So we could afford to supply the masses as well.
Now, as an entrepreneur, tell me this one. Obviously, it's the order of the day at the moment, people reducing their prices. I've seen some very high quality brands that have reduced their prices in these difficult times. How much of a danger is there that you're going to devalue your brand in doing that?
No, we will never devalue our brand. We will reduce the price if we can. What's happened is so we still maintain the same quality, but we reduce the prices a little bit to combat the recession a bit.
And at this point, I mean, how do you see it shaping up in your business? I mean, are there any good signs?
The world's in a bad state, and we just got to hang in there. It's nothing new to us. We've been through it all, but the brothers will fight it out.
Was there any time as an entrepreneur where you just thought, well, I've had enough, I don't want to do this anymore, I want to go work for somebody else?
Well, every day.
Every day?
Every day. But you can't. You've gone so far, there's no turning back. There's no turning back. It's the aggravation of business and of staff, of everything, but it gets you down, but you go back again the next day, and then you get the renewed hope.
As an entrepreneur, I mean, what was your lowest day, you think, your lowest point, when you perhaps were taking more than most?
It was 1976. 1976 was hard times, because we had this massive store in town, and we didn't know what to do, so we decided to go into the better end and move into the suburbs, and we opened a store in Sandton City, in Eastgate Shopping Centre, and we built our own building in Dunkeld, and we went in there, paid rent to ourselves.
And so, just to cheer you up a bit, I mean, what were the good times? What were the boom times that made it all seem worth it?
Sure, in the 80s and things like was good times, where everything was just fine for South Africa. After the Mandela came out, things moved. The country was not scared anymore. They moved on, and people just bought furniture. They found that South Africa's the place to stay. Those that were going to stay stayed, and those who were going to go had gone already. So it was all plain sailing from there.
And what are you, the Bakos Brothers, saying now to your children and grandchildren looking ahead? I mean, what are you telling them about business in this continent?
Well, it's tough out there. You just got to hang hand in and get educated, do whatever's right, and carry on. There's no other way out. There's no other way out.
I mean, one aspect of your business for the new generation is that you've tried to become carbon friendly in the way you do business. What's the thinking behind that?
Well, Ryan, our new CEO, has gone into that. I don't know much about it, but we do plant trees for every kilometre we ride and burn up the atmosphere. We do our bit. We're the first company furniture company to go carbon neutral on that.
And looking ahead more broadly on the business, what lies in the future for the Bakos Brothers?
Well, we're looking at opening another couple of stores in Cape Town and in Durban, in Mshlonga Rocks area. We've just opened a store in the Lowveld, White River. That's where we come from, Nelspruit. And we service a lot of the Mozambique business from there. But that's where we come from. Our name is very, very good down there. Plus the fact that we going into Africa quite a bit, a lot of business in Africa, Angola, Zambia, Zimbabwe, all over.
And
Big business there.
surely it must be a bit risky, though, to be expanding at this particular time.
No, we're not going to do it now, not at all now. We're going to wait, lie low for a while. There's no expansions now.
And you're going to be expanding in an area where you grew up, where you spent your childhood.
That's in White River. We've already opened there in Nelspruit.
Was that the reason why you decided to bring the business back?
That's it. You know, we are well known in the area, and we thought we'd like to go back to our roots. Plus Mozambique is an emerging market which we're trying to tap into.
What is happening up there in Mozambique at the moment? What's the kind of intelligence you're getting?
Yeah, fantastic, big growth. Zambia, big growth. I've been to Zambia in the last month twice already. I'm going again on Thursday. Just people want homes. Their homes furnished, and they've got the money for it, some of them.
There's a lot of talk, though, about this affluent middle class that's coming up in this continent. What evidence are you finding?
Big time, big time. They want the best, they ask for the best, and they don't want to settle for anything less. Big time in Africa, it's happening.
You mentioned Mozambique and Zambia there. What other growth areas are there?
Angola. I went there about 2-3 years ago, and Angola, in 2-3 years, suddenly got highways, a lot of new buildings coming up. Fantastic. It's going to just blossom out.
Well, you mentioned earlier in the program there is a lot of competition from China and Italy, you mentioned. How is that manifesting itself in Africa?
Well, big time. You know, it's a lot of the stores today are buying from China, but you can get good stuff from China and you can get some mediocre stuff from China. So I don't have to tell you.
So you're trying on quality, to hold your...
We still try. If we're going to buy from China, we're going to buy the better quality article to get in if we do that.
But this export to the rest of the continent, how big could this become in your business?
It's very big at the moment for us. We're doing a lot of the business in Africa.
But what sort of percentage would you say?
I would say at this stage about 20-25% in Africa.
Okay, so
it's growing up.
Exciting new ventures.
Very big time, yeah.
And further north?
We go up there, but it seems to just settle now in the SADC states at this stage. But we do go to Congo, Nairobi, all over.
And through it all, what would be the lessons that you would want to pass on to a young entrepreneur coming up? Not necessarily a member of the family.
Yeah.
This one, I mean, the 3 lessons that would say this is how you make it as an entrepreneur.
Well, as I said right in the beginning, the first thing is hard work, and you got to persevere, and don't relax. Just carry on and follow your dream. If you can dream it, you can do it, and that's it.
Because one thing that's often said about the young generation coming up is that a lot of people want to get on, a lot of people want to make it, but people forget that you have to get up early every day of the week.
Every day.
Go out there, do the same thing over and over again. What are you seeing from the youngsters coming up in your business?
The youngster in our business, yeah. Our family, they come in at work early in the morning, they do it. But generally out there, the youngsters been very spoiled today. They get things easy, and they haven't got that hunger. You've got to have that hunger to want to make it.
In the entrepreneurial world, what do you think can be done about this?
I don't know. It's just it's the parents. You've got to just get to the parents. There's no more army. There's no more this and that. So the parents have got to bring up their kids in the decision that they don't get everything that they ask for. Yeah.
And you know, I mean, in terms of entrepreneurs, what would you do to build an entrepreneur? I mean, somebody perhaps who's started out, who asks for your advice.
Well, if he asks my advice, I'll just tell him to get out there and work hard. That's it. But it's basically you got to want it. You got to really want to do. You got to go out and create the first step, and go into it and try and do what you want to do.
And obviously you've made a fortune for yourself and with your family in the furniture business. If you had your time over again and you could choose something else, what would it be?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing. I love it every moment. I love going to a home, seeing it empty, and then coming away and seeing it full of furniture.
So you can walk into somebody's house and say, okay, I can sell this person this, this, and this.
Yeah, I just walk in and I say, you need this, you need that. I go to people for dinner and I see that they bought the wrong pieces of furniture, and I want to move their furniture around, you know, but you've got to restrain yourself. You see.
And,
A lot of people buy the wrong pieces of furniture. They put their TVs in the wrong spot and so on, you know, so I see that.
But you're an expert, obviously,
Yeah.
picked up. Now, you mentioned earlier that in terms of hierarchy, it's the eldest brother. There's no arguments about that. Is there any competition among you brothers about who's the best salesman in the furniture
We
business?
fight each other all the time. Who's the best salesman? But each brother's got his own niche in the business. One brother does decorating, the other one does this, does that, and the one brother now is in the property division, so he's out of it now. And we run different stores, help with the new CEO with the new stores, with the stores, keep them going, and that's it.
Now, just lastly, but not least, I mean, this show's all about getting the entrepreneurial edge.
Yeah.
That's what we're called about. How would you define and describe the entrepreneurial spirit? Well, how would you define it?
I think you got to be born with it some of the time. You got to be born. You got to have the guts to go on your own. A lot of people out there would work for a boss and carry on. They wouldn't take that step because of fear. And you got to overcome that fear and dive into what you want to do and what you like. And you got to love what you're doing. If you're not, go into something else.
And last but not least, how stubborn do you have to be?
Got to be very stubborn. Very stubborn.
And you plead guilty to that?
Definitely. Definitely.